Hello, everybody. Welcome back to one and all to episode number 6 of Thoughts and Hunches, making money in bunches and sucker punches. It's your boy Stony back for another round, and it's time for us to get paid, plain and simple. Last week was kind of a weird week. We went 5-7 in the NCAA, which is clearly not up to our standards, but we're still 16-10 overall on the season. The NFL. 4-3-1. We bounced back strong in the afternoon to finish the week at 9-10-1. And let me tell you something. If that's our worst week of the year, then we'll take it. It was clearly a losing week because the NCAA did us no favors. There was a bunch of bad beats that just did not go our way. Same with the NFL, which very easily could have been 6-1. But missed field goals, bad choices, missed extra point cost us a half. Anyway, either way, we're now 11-10-1 with a winning record in the NFL. So 27-20-1 overall so far ain't too bad. So before we get on to this week's picks, we want to start with a quick shout out to Sean Connery. Rest in peace to the Scottish brother, the greatest living Scot, or was the greatest living Scotsman, a true national treasure, a worldwide treasure, the first actor to ever play James Bond. He was it. He was the true epitome of a movie star. He finally got an Oscar later on in life when he snagged a Best Supporting Actor Oscar for The Untouchables. Just phenomenal. The greatest James Bond, clearly the ultimate James Bond, the original, and rest in peace to the sexiest man alive in 1989, and in 1999, the sexiest man of the century, according to People magazine. Anyway, rest in peace, Mr. James Bond, Mr. Sean Connery. You are a Scot that will truly, truly be missed. Anyway, let's move on now. NCAA picks for the week. We're gonna start off with a crazy game, the BC Clemson game. Trevor Lawrence, as you all know by now, tested positive for COVID-19. We were on Boston College at plus 31.5. We were definitely going to take them after Clemson failed to cover last week and just didn't look too good, even though they hung 46. BC was the pick, but now the line went all the way down to 24.5, an entire touchdown worth of spread, which is attributed to the fact that Trevor Lawrence isn't playing. But for Clemson, they have the number one quarterback in the class, in last year's class, who will be getting the start, DJ. Let me see if I can get this right. Uiagalelei. I'm pretty sure that's pronounced correctly. He was a 5-star number one quarterback out of the LA area, and he's the man, and he takes over today. And now we're going to reverse course and go with Clemson. We're going to lay the 24.5 and see what happens there. So we're going to take Clemson, lay the 24.5, and roll with the freshman quarterback. Game 2, you're going to see a definite trend forming with all of our picks today, especially in college. In college, it's all about the road teams today. KSU, Kansas State, plus 5.5 at West Virginia. It's a classic look-ahead game for KSU because they have Oklahoma State coming up next week. But West Virginia I'm not sold on West Virginia. They've had a lot of shaky performances where they've eked out a couple wins. KSU is strong. They're tough. They're solid. We're going to take the points on the road at Morgantown. Second up is ISU. Iowa State right now is playing well, and they're on the road at Kansas. Let's face it. I'm going to take anybody against Kansas right now, no matter what the number is. ISU's laying 28. Doesn't matter. It could be 38. ISU rolls. They hang 40 on Kansas. Kansas will be lucky to score in double digits. Take Iowa State and lay the 28. Third up, we've got Michigan State plus 23 at Michigan. We're going to take the points. Yes, Michigan State looked horrible last week and losing to Rutgers. The thing with sports is week 2 is always the classic week where everybody makes rash decisions based on 1 week of football. Well, this is the second week of the Big Ten. So after last week's performance, Michigan State will get things together. Michigan is going to win this game, but they ain't going to win by 3.5 touchdowns. So we're going to take Michigan State plus the 23. Next up, we're on the road at Kentucky. We like Georgia. Lay the 17. Georgia hasn't been seen since they got beat up by Alabama a couple weeks ago. They had a week off to lick their wounds, and now it's time to run the table and try to sneak into the college football playoff. And that all starts today with a convincing win against the Kentucky team that is struggling right now, had to replace their quarterback, and their defense has not been playing well. Georgia hangs 40 on Kentucky, and again, Kentucky will have trouble reaching double figures. Next up, we've got Notre Dame at home, on the road again at Georgia Tech. We're going to lay the 20.5. Notre Dame has been rolling. Notre Dame's playing good football right now. And they seem to fall under everybody's radar because they're the big squad and everybody gives them all the props and this and that. But now people are tiring on that fact because come January, during college football playoff time, they always seem to get rolled. Well, this ain't January. This is December, right? So we have Notre Dame 20.5 on the road. They're going to win this by 4 touchdowns and dance across the finish line. Next up, we've got Texas plus 3.5 at Oklahoma State. Yes, we know Oklahoma State's undefeated and ranked number 6, and we know Texas is struggling along at 3-2. But this is the perfect opportunity for Texas to get right and to keep their eye on the prize of a Big 12 championship. Oklahoma State could win this game, but it's going to be close. And if they win it by a field goal, that puts us in the winner's circle at plus 3.5. So we're going to roll with the Longhorns. Next up, we've got Boise State minus 14.5 in Colorado Springs at the Academy. Boise State is Boise State. This is the time of year where they roll everybody, right? They run through the Mountain West and they take no prisoners, and today is no exception just because they're playing a service academy. Hank Ballmeyer, the quarterback, is really something else for Boise State. He's going to be a special one, and he already is a special one. He's playing well, and they're going to roll over AFA. Lay the 14.5. Next up, a surprise pick for some people. We're going to take Mississippi State. We're going to take the 30.5 on the road in Tuscaloosa against Alabama. Yes, Alabama could very easily win this game 50-0, but it ain't going to happen. Mississippi State's going to score. They're going to put up some numbers, and they don't have to put up that many numbers to cover 30.5. That's a huge number that Bama should not be laying against a team with the offensive explosiveness that Mississippi State has, but doesn't always show. So we're going to take Mississippi State and the 30.5. Next up, we're going to finally stay at home, right? Our first home game. We're going to take Penn State plus 10 against Ohio State. Today would have been the whiteout game at Penn State, which is always a classic game that everybody looks forward to. Again, week 2 of the Big Ten season, where everybody is basing their picks off of 1 week where Penn State was beaten last week by Indiana. But if you look inside those numbers, Penn State dominated that game, just not on the scoreboard. Ohio State is Ohio State. They're going to win this game, but they ain't going to win by 10. Penn State keeps it close and keeps it inside the number. Next up, we have Mizzou traveling to Florida. Another road team. We're going to take the Tigers. Missouri has played well. They've surprised a lot of teams, and they're playing well in Florida after a hot start. Hasn't looked good the last couple weeks. So laying 14 seems like a big ask for a Florida team that hasn't really played that well. So we're going to take Mizzou, take the 2 touchdowns, and dance. And finally, the last game is the Degenerate Special. We always bet the Degenerate Special of the week. The Degenerate Special is the last game of the night in college football, where you try to make up all your losses with one big bet. This time we're going to go to the state of Nevada for the Silver State Showdown. Or because it's in Las Vegas, they call it the Fremont Street Showdown. It's Nevada versus UNLV. We're going to take the road Wolfpack laying 13.5 at UNLV. UNLV is just a mess. Nevada is playing well. They're actually looking really good, and we're going to lay the 13.5 on the road. So there's your NCAA picks, 12 of them, lots of them. right? So we're going to roll. We want to go at least, at the very least, 7-5, but we're looking to go 8-4. And a very good week would be 9-3, but we'll take 8-4 all day. Now off to the NFL. NFL Sunday, we've got New England +4 at Buffalo. New England is pretty much in a must-win situation. We have not been sold on Buffalo all year. We've been fading Buffalo, and they cost us the first couple weeks. But the last couple weeks now, all of a sudden, Buffalo has some kinks in the armor, and New England right now is in a spot where they have to win. Buffalo kind of sort of is too, if they really want to put some distance between themselves and New England, but it's not going to happen. Belichick knows this Buffalo team. Belichick's going to do everything to right the ship, get everything going. New England, possibly on a money line pick, wouldn't be so bad either to win this game straight up, but instead we'll take the 4 and dance with New England. Second up, we have another road dog, and that's Las Vegas. We're going to take the Raiders +2 in Cleveland. Cleveland has been up and down, as always. Cleveland could win this game 30-10. We don't see it happening. We really like the coaching matchup in this situation. Gruden is miles ahead of Stefanski, and the Raiders have not been bad. The Raiders have been a good team. They've had a couple of wobbly performances, but for the most part, the Raiders have played well. We like the way they can run the ball, and if you're going to beat Cleveland, you got to beat them by running the ball. And we expect big game from Josh Jacobs and a big game from Derek Carr with the play action passing down the field. So take the Raiders +2. Even money line bet wouldn't be so bad. Now we move to a stretch of home teams, right? The next 5 picks are all home teams. We start with Detroit at home as a home dog against Indianapolis. Detroit is in the mix. Detroit has won a couple games in a row. A case could be made that they very easily could be 4-2, and they're playing good ball right now. Indianapolis has gone the opposite direction. They had a crushing loss in week 1. Then they got hot and won a couple games in a row and looked like the Indianapolis team that a lot of people expected with Phillip Rivers at the helm. But lately, they've fallen on hard times. We're going to take Detroit. We're going to take the field goal at home against Indy. Next up, we've got Green Bay at home in the land of cheese against Minnesota. Minnesota's a mess. They're a total disaster, right? Their secondary is beat up. Their front line, defensive front line, is missing 2 players. And you're going to try to slow down Aaron Rodgers after a week. Not after a week, but you're going to try to slow down Aaron Rodgers, who's absolutely owned your asses for the better part of 10 years. No, not going to happen this time. Green Bay dances easily at home, -6.5. Next up, biggest spread of the week. Probably the biggest spread of the year. KC at home, -19.5 against the Jets. Got to take KC. I don't care if it's 30. You just can't take the Jets at this point. Some people are calling for the backdoor cover with Patrick Mahomes out of the game in the fourth quarter and the Chiefs leading by 3 touchdowns, and Sam Darnold throws a touchdown with a minute left to backdoor you. I don't see that happening, because by the time Mahomes gets out of the game, they'll be up by 4 touchdowns. So Chiefs win. Chiefs win huge. I see somewhere along the lines of 31-6, 31-9, somewhere around there. Chiefs win easily. Next up, Miami at home +3.5. This is a game that's gotten really divisive. Everybody knows Tua Tagovailoa is making his first start, and along with it, the hopes and the dreams and the future of the Miami franchise, which is a very, very proud franchise and a very successful franchise. They're at home +3.5 against the Rams. Now, everybody's on the Rams. Nobody thinks that Tagovailoa can get it done against that front 4, especially with Aaron Donald coming and chasing him down the field all day. But this is the perfect opportunity for Miami, coming off a bye week, an extra week to install a good game plan against the Rams, who are very, very travel weary. They've been all over the place. This is their 3rd trip to the East Coast already. And it ain't going to be easy. We're going to take the Dolphins, and who knows, they might even surprise you and steal a win. But we're going to take the rookie. We're going to take Miami plus 3.5 against the Rams. Next up, home team, Baltimore -4 against Pittsburgh. Everybody's reacting to Pittsburgh winning all these games. They really haven't beaten anybody. Last week they beat Tennessee, but that was with the help of a missed field goal that should have sent the game to overtime. In overtime, anything can happen. So I'm not saying Tennessee would have won, but you never know. In the meantime, Pittsburgh is undefeated, yes, but they really, if you look at their strength of schedule, it has been horrible. They haven't played anybody. Baltimore, outside of one bad showing on Monday night against Kansas City, has been steamrolling teams. Baltimore's the class of this division. They've been the class of this division, and they're going to take over first place with a win today, and it's going to be a convincing win. This is my lock of the week, Baltimore -4 at home against Pittsburgh. Next up, the last game of the week, we go back on the road. We're going to take the 49ers. Third week in a row, we're rolling with SF, and they've been looking good. They absolutely have not disappointed. They're playing the Chiefs, who are coming off a short week and a loss, their first loss of the season. They lost to Arizona on Monday night, and the thing about Seattle is that all their games are close. They always come down to that final possession. So even if KC wins, they win by a field goal, right? That's what the number is. It's right on 3. You want to buy it to 3.5. You're more than welcome to. But I think the Niners win this game outright. This is not the 49ers of the past where they seem to lose every single time they went up against Seattle, right? This is the new 49ers. Kyle Shanahan is doing things the right way. He showed it last year by beating up Seattle, and this is their first meeting of the year. I know it's up in the Pacific Northwest, but SF gets it done and wins outright plus the 3. So there you go. There's your picks for the week. That's 8 NFL picks and 12 college picks, leaving us 20 for the week. So 12-8 is what we're looking for. That's 60%. Anything above that is gravy, but 12 wins is the least amount that we'll accept. And finally, a couple shout outs. We're going to start out. Our first shout out is to the state of Tennessee. As of Sunday morning, Tennesseans will be allowed to bet legally. There are no brick and mortar buildings, so you can't just walk into a sports book and place a bet because there are no sports books. But you can get online and you can bet via 3 or 4 different apps. And as long as you have your ID on and your what's the word I'm looking for? The ID on your phone. As long as you have that, your GPS. If you have that on and they see that you're in the state of Tennessee, then you can place a bet legally. I'll be all over it tomorrow morning. I wish I could have done it today for college football today, but instead we're going to start tomorrow with the NFL. Welcome to the world of sports betting, Tennessee. Shout outs. P-Time and D.O. P-Time in Las Vegas, D.O. in Fort Lauderdale. My brothers from another mother. Both you guys got babies on the way, and you both announced it within a week. Love you both. Good luck to you both, and let's hope you get boys, because if you get girls, you're both screwed. Next up is the Dascos, K&P, brother and sister combo from the Bay Area. These two have been absolutely fantastic. If you follow us through the Grease is the Word newsletter or website, they're the ones that make it all happen and put it all together. There will be no Grease is the Word newsletter this week because it usually comes out on Tuesday, and we want to encourage everybody to get out there and vote. So next week it will be up and running, but this week there will be no Grease is the Word newsletter, but a big shout out to K&P Dasco for getting it done. Finally, Jason Whitlock and Clay Travis, the founder. Clay Travis is the founder of Outkick.com, and Jason Whitlock is now his partner. These two have been constantly providing excellent content right up and down the board. They deal with facts. Yes, they do deal with opinions, but their facts are 100% down the middle of the road, and we can't get enough of them. Jason Whitlock is one of the best sports writers in the country and has been for a long time. And Clay Travis is just simply brilliant. This is a guy who was a lawyer, and puts his lawyer cap on and definitely gets it done. So shout out to Whitlock and Clay, founders of Outkick. And that's it for me for the week. We hope you win big this week. That's what we intend to do. So remember, if you're going to win big, you got to bet big. And finally, good luck to you.